Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and today I want to talk about Starship Troopers.
Why?
The 1997 classic is one of my favourite sci-fi films of all time, but the more I look into it, the more I start to see. Now on the surface, the film features Johnny Rico leading his squad to glory against the big bad bugs. But what if I told you the main call to arms was secretly a false flag caused by humanity?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Now the event I'm talking about is the destruction of Buenos Aires, which acts as a way to get people to enlist. You probably think I'm mental, right? Well, let's put on our tinfoil hats, and hopefully by the end of this I'll manage to convince you. If you agree, then please hit the thumbs up, and if you don't, then the dislike's there. But really, you fucks need to wake up and subscribe to the channel for videos like this every week. With out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let us dive into Starship Troopers. Okay, so to set the stage, we see Johnny Rico getting kicked out the military. This is due to an accidental death that ends up happening under his command. Video calling his parents, they're happy he's coming back, but something strange then happens as the call ends.
We love you, son.
Oh my, what's that?
Moments later, we find out an asteroid's hit the planet and wiped out Johnny's home, leaving nothing but ash. Immediately, you want to join in the fight and head out to stamp down the bugs.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
We find out after that people are enlisting en masse, and in many ways it reflects real life. The official stats in the aftermath of Pearl Harbor say that 130,000 Americans joined the military within 30 days of it. Less than a year later, there were 50 million Americans working for the war effort, showing how much this drove up registration. There were even rumors at the time that the president knew about it beforehand and even let it happen, as it could act as a way to get people to enlist. Now that's a crazy conspiracy theory, yeah, but the one I've got for you today, I swear it's true. Now that is that the entire bug attack was orchestrated by the humans in order to get people to enlist. This would help to secure military funding and mean the Federation stays operational. Now what the film does is that it paints out a society that's wholly reliant on there being an enemy. The entirety of the civilization that we see is built off the back of military rule, and whether it's in the classroom, the constant propaganda ads running, or how you get citizenship, it's all building off the back of being in the military. At the school, we see people protesting though, and you could argue there are certain people who don't want this to be. Some people might even question if the war's worth it, because all we get is this desolate planet. However, those in charge need to keep things moving, and in order to do this, we need to have an enemy. If there isn't a war, then their society could collapse, and who knows what would happen to the government. Now from what we see, humans have stopped fighting amongst themselves, and even the criminals are executed quickly. We meet a prisoner who'd been caught for murder, and within 24 hours he was then tried and executed. This shows how unquestioned the government are and how quickly they can push things through. Again, people might start to question things like, is that trial fair? And thus they need something that puts the military at the top, getting us all united under their direct rule. That's something this attack does, which makes me think there's something else going on. Now this is of course something that Watchmen also touched upon, with a false flag attack happening at the end of that. That also brought us together, and though it might sound like a crazy theory, let us look at the science behind it. So at 2 points in the movie, we see the distance between Earth and Klendathu, which is shown to us in propaganda news reports. The first one of these happens at the beginning when we get the news report explaining the bug meteor. Now I'm not somewhat of a scientist myself, but these are clearly billions or even trillions of light years away. The second report comes right after the asteroid strike, which shows a path it travelled from Klendathu. Now as we know, the planets in the solar system, they're constantly moving and spinning through space. Where we are now, that won't even be where we are in half a second's time, and we're constantly moving at vast speeds throughout the cosmos. Thus, in order for the bugs to hit us, they need to have next level math. The way it's explained to us is that meteors orbit their planet, providing them with an unlimited amount of ammo. From the planet, a bug then fires up into space and knocks one of these directly towards Earth. So let me get this straight, right? They do that, and then the meteor travels across the universe and gets a bullseye on us. In order to pull this off, you'd not only have to know where you were in space, but then also know where the Earth was. You'd then have to work out where it would be in a trillion light years time, and also what exact angle to hit the meteor at. This would need to be worked out so that when you hit it, it travels on a straight path directly towards us. You see, with that kind of distance, mate, even if you get it wrong by a degree, it's gonna miss us by trillions and trillions of miles. Let's pull that map back up and draw a straight line between our planets so you can get an idea of exactly what I mean. Now let's move that line by just 1 degree so you can see how much of a difference that it makes. Now this is without even factoring in that all these planets and systems are constantly spinning at a rate that adds countless extra variables. Also, in order for the bugs to be able to pull this off, they'd have to shoot the meteor aeons and aeons and aeons ago. Love saying that. Now they'd also have to know what the mass of the rock was and also what speed to hit it at to make sure it travelled to the point we'd be at. You'd also have to be aware of how fast the planets move, and yeah, no way can the bugs do all that. From what we see, they don't have any technology and most likely wouldn't have even known we existed back when they needed to fire at the meteor. It's also clear that the official human stance is that bugs aren't intelligent, and this is hammered home by this line.
Brain bugs? Frankly, I find the idea of a bug that thinks offensive.
So clearly, humanity thinks that bugs are dumb and wouldn't be capable of carrying this out. Again, there's just too many variables, mate, and this is made more complex by another scene. That happens with the crew of the Roger Young, which we see piloted by Captain Carmen. Carmen ends up encountering the meteor that later on ends up hitting our planet. The ship hits against it and barely scrapes by, but again, this is something that would make it change course. Going back to the idea of angles, this would have caused it to veer off course slightly, meaning that the meteor would have missed anyway. So technically the Roger Young might have been what caused it to hit Earth. I'm not buying it though, I think it was always a false flag, and in the opening report, something else seems afoot. In it we see another rock heading towards a planet, and this is again about to hit Buenos Aires. However, we're saved by this brand new ship, which the Federation now has for planetary defense. No doubt that cost a bunch, but because of the attack, the government's obviously now funded. No matter what, they'll always have money for wars, and this is of course something that we've seen in real life. Now on top of this, look at the animation that they knock out to showcase the attack. I know Kevin's spoilers, he's got a reputation for getting videos out quickly, but I don't even think we could have got this report out seconds after it happened. It's detailed, has a mix of graphics and lots of footage of the aftermath that would have happened just mere minutes before. How they would have managed to get this, compile it and put it in a report, you couldn't bloody do it, and it shows that they likely had all of this to hand. It's like when they have footage from another thing, you know, mate, the conspiracy theories, you've seen them, and they say one tragic event is using footage from another tragic event. The report also makes it clear that they didn't use wormhole technology and that the asteroid travelled directly from Klendathu. I've seen that often used as a reason to explain it, but yeah, I doubt the bugs have any grasp or understanding of how black holes and wormholes work, and if they'd even transport a meteor to the right place to continue its journey. Also, let's dive into the ethics of journalism to talk about what's going on. Normally when attacks happen like this in real life, we wait until there's one of two things. That is an investigation into who carried it out, which normally takes at least several hours. Either that or a group claims credit for it and comes forth as the ones behind it. There's no way that humanity would be able to say that this was the bugs in such a short space of time. This is literally a minute after Rico's phone call, which isn't near enough time to know if it's the case. Even if they had that assumption, you'd still want to double check, but nope. Ready to blame them straight away. Now, I'm no bug sympathizer, yeah, but they didn't own up to it either. Again, humanity also thinks the bugs are stupid, so why would they immediately know that it was them? No, they wouldn't, you scumbag. No, I think they were in on it, and they either let it happen or carried it out themselves. This is all to continue the industrial military complex and gain support for spending and enlistment in the war. Telling people there's an enemy, that's one thing, but showing an enemy can eradicate you, it puts the fear of God into you. The only thing to do is fight back, and humanity clearly wants Klendathu, which we know from the hints towards colonization. They clearly want us to agree that that's the right thing to do, and I hope this video has helped to prove it. I'm so glad you listened, so we now know the truth. Who's that? Quick, share the video, expose the truth, the truth is out there, wake up, Spoiler Society!